On Tuesday morning, late November, the air in San Diego felt sharp and cold. I was pouring cereal when my phone buzzed. The text was from my mom, Celeste Cole. "Do not come home for Thanksgiving. We are busy." That was it. No love, no smile, just a door slammed in one line. My name is Adrian Cole. I am 30 years old. Most people know me as a middle school math teacher who coaches the robotics club. I drive a 10-year-old gray sedan and rent a small apartment near the freeway. I look ordinary on purpose because ordinary keeps people honest. My parents live in Orange County, in a hilltop house with a gate, a fountain, and cameras that blink like eyes. My dad, Raymond Cole, is 60 and built like a wall. He runs Pacific Ridge Materials, a construction supply company that sells gravel, sand, and concrete across Southern California. He loves power, and he loves being obeyed. My mom, Celeste, is 57 and always polished. She never shouts. When she wants to hurt you, she uses silence and smiles. Then there is my older sister, Sienna. She is 34, loud online, and always chasing attention. She sells high-end homes and calls it building a brand. She likes to say our family is legacy. She also likes to say I am soft. My mom's text should have made me stay away. Instead, it made my stomach tighten. When my parents push me out, it is never just about feelings. It is about control. I typed back, "Why?" No answer came. At school, I taught my students about patterns. I drew triangles on the board and explained how small steps can build something strong. While I spoke, my mind kept circling one thought. If my parents are blocking me before Thanksgiving, they are hiding something. I have a reason to think that. 8 years ago, my grandfather Elias Cole died. He was my dad's father and the only person in my family who treated me like I was more than a problem. Grandpa Elias loved quiet plans. When I was a kid, he would sit with me at the kitchen table and show me how numbers tell the truth, even when people lie. When he passed, he left me a modest inheritance. My dad called it pity money. Sienna joked, "I should buy a nicer car." I smiled, said thanks, and kept my mouth shut. Then, I used that money to study my dad's company. Pacific Ridge looked strong from the outside, but the inside was risky. My dad borrowed heavy to grow fast. One bad year could crush him. I saw it in the loans, and the interest, and the tight cash flow. I also saw something else. The business itself was valuable. The demand for materials in California never sleeps. So I started buying shares. Not in my own name. If Raymond Cole saw his soft son becoming an owner, he would have tried to smash me. So I created a private holding company called Seabright Partners. Boring name. Clean paperwork. No trail back to a teacher in San Diego. I bought slowly. I bought quietly. I reinvested every dividend. When the market dipped, I bought more. When my dad bragged the loudest, I bought more. I did not buy out of hate. I bought because it was smart, and because some part of me still wanted to protect the family that never protected me. By the time I married my wife, Lila, I already owned a big chunk through Seabright. Lila is 29, a nurse with steady hands and a stubborn heart. She grew up in Bakersfield, in a small house where people hugged more than they judged. She has never cared about my parents' opinions, but she has always cared about my pain. The last Thanksgiving I spent with my parents was rough. My dad spent the whole meal talking about business like it was a sport. He praised Sienna's boyfriend, Knox Hale, for being hungry. Knox sells online success coaching. He wears tight suits and talks about winning like it is breathing. Then my dad turned to me and said, loud enough for the whole table, "How's teaching? Still babysitting for pennies?" Everyone laughed, except Lila. She squeezed my knee under the table, and I kept my face calm because I refused to give them a reaction they could enjoy. That Tuesday night, I showed Lila my mom's text. Lila read it, then looked at me. "They can't keep treating you like this," she said. "They can," I answered. "They always have." "Are you going anyway?" she asked. I nodded. "Yes. If they're sending me away, it means something bigger is happening. I need to see it." "Promise you'll stay calm," she said. "I promise," I said, and I meant it. On Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, the sky was gray and low. I drove north after school. Traffic on the 5 freeway crawled. Minivans were stuffed with suitcases. People sang along to music and fought over snacks. I watched them and wondered what it felt like to go home without armor. Before I reached Orange County, I made one call. My attorney is Miriam Fox. She is 45, direct, and impossible to charm. She handles Seabright Partners and my voting rights. She knows every share I own and every rule that protects it. "Miriam," I said, Can you check if Pacific Ridge has any board meeting planned soon? Give me a few minutes, she said. I drove in silence until she called back. There's a special board meeting set for next Tuesday morning, she said. Closed agenda. Only directors and major holders. Right after Thanksgiving, I said. Yes, she replied. And there is a draft request for issuing new shares. If it passes, it dilutes existing holders. My grip tightened on the wheel. They're trying to shrink Seabright. They're trying to shrink the largest outside holder, Miriam said. They likely believe Seabright is hostile. They don't know it's me, I said. No, she said. They do not. Stay ready, I told her. I may need you on speaker tonight. I'll be ready, she said. The guard at my parents' gate waved me through. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this story and you understand it so far, please comment where you're watching from and subscribe. It really helps. And this California Thanksgiving Eve is about to get intense. Their neighborhood was quiet and clean, with lawns trimmed like haircuts. My parents' house sat at the top of the hill, glowing warm behind giant windows. From far away, it looked like comfort. Up close, it felt like a set built for an audience. I parked behind my dad's black SUV. My old sedan looked like a mistake beside it. I carried a store-bought pumpkin pie to the door, because even now, I wanted to be respectful. My mom opened the door herself. Her smile appeared late, like she had to force it. Adrian, she said. You told me not to come, I replied. We are busy, she repeated, stepping aside. Inside, the house smelled like turkey, herbs, and money. Soft music played. The dining table was set with 6 plates. 6. My dad walked in, boots polished, jaw tight. You came anyway, he said. It's Thanksgiving, I answered. I wanted to see my family. Sienna appeared with her phone in hand. Aw, she said. Look who showed up. Did the school give you permission? Knox Hale stepped behind her. Tall, tan, and smiling. Good to see you, Adrian, he said, like we were friends. 2 strangers stood near the fireplace. One was a thin man with silver hair and a smooth smile. The other was a woman in a dark blazer, holding a black folder. Her eyes flicked over my clothes like she was counting mistakes. My dad nodded to them. This is Owen Ledger, he said. And this is Camille Park. They're advising us on company matters. Company matters on Thanksgiving Eve. My stomach turned once, slow. We sat. My mom served food with perfect manners. My dad talked about contracts and trucks. Sienna talked about listings and parties. Knox talked about mindset. Owen and Camille listened, making small notes. No one asked about my students. No one asked about Lila. I was a guest in my own family. Again. After dinner, my dad wiped his mouth and set a thick cream envelope on the table. It was sealed. My name was printed on it in neat black letters. My mom slid it toward me. The envelope moved across the wood with a soft, steady sound that made my skin prickle. Open it, my dad said. I broke the seal and pulled out the papers. The first page read, Family Separation Agreement. The next pages listed rules. No claims. No future demands. No contact with Pacific Ridge Materials. No attendance at company events. No public statements. A check was clipped to the last page. $200,000. Sienna leaned forward, smiling like she had been waiting for this. That's more money than you'll see in years, she said. Knox chuckled. A generous offer, he added. My dad watched me with cold confidence. Sign it, he said. Take the money, and stop showing up where you do not belong. My mom's voice stayed soft. This will make things peaceful, Adrian. End quote. Camille Park opened her folder. This prevents disputes, she said. It protects the company. Owen Ledger added, it also protects your family from chaos. They were buying silence. They were buying distance. They were buying my place at the table. I kept my voice even. You want me to sign away my right to be part of this family? I said. My dad did not blink. We want you to stop being a problem. Sienna's eyes shone with satisfaction. I stared at the check. $200,000. My parents were trying to erase me with a number. They believed they could solve love the same way they solve contracts. I set the papers down slowly and looked at my mom. Did you write my name on that envelope? I asked. Her eyes shifted away. Yes, she admitted. So you planned this, I said. My mom swallowed. We planned a clean solution. My dad leaned forward. Enough talk. Are you signing? I lifted the check with 2 fingers. You're offering me $200,000 to disappear, I said. It's fair, Sienna snapped. It's generous, Knox added. My dad's voice hardened. Sign. I set the check back down, flat. Before I answer, I said, I need to make a call. This isn't free mine estate. Sienna laughed. To your principal? No, I said. To the person who knows who owns this company. My dad's eyes narrowed. You do not have those contacts. I pulled out my phone and tapped Miriam Fox. Miriam answered on the first ring. Adrian, you're on speaker, I said. Please tell everyone here who the largest shareholder of Pacific Ridge Materials is. The room went silent. Miriam's voice came through calm and clear. Pacific Ridge has 100 million voting shares, she said. The largest holder is Seabright Partners, with 44 million shares. 44%. Owen Ledger's smile slipped. Camille Park's eyes widened. Knox's mouth opened slightly. My dad stared at the phone like it had cursed him. Sienna whispered, 44%? My dad's voice cracked. Who is Seabright? I met his eyes. Miriam, I said, tell them who owns Seabright Partners. Miriam did not pause. Seabright Partners is wholly owned by Adrian Cole, she said. It has held shares for 8 years. The current value of the position is approximately $8.6 billion. My mom made a small sound and covered her mouth. Owen's pen stopped. Camille's folder dipped. Knox dropped his fork. Sienna's face went blank. My dad shoved his chair back and stood. That's impossible, he said. You're a teacher. I am a teacher, I said. I'm also the person who can vote you out next Tuesday. The words fell into the room like heavy stones. My dad's hand shook. You hid this from us, he spat. You never asked, I said. You never cared who I was. You only cared what you could control. Ogerstoon in the stay. Owen Ledger cleared his throat, trying to regain the room. Raymond, he said. We need privacy. No, I said. We can do this right here, since you chose Thanksgiving Eve for business. Camille's voice came out tight. He knows about the meeting, she said. I know about the meeting, I said. And I know about the draft dilution plan. My mom stared at my dad. Raymond, she whispered, what were you planning? My dad looked trapped. For the first time in my life, he looked like the ground moved under him. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a plain brown envelope. I slid it across the table to my dad, the same way my mom slid hers to me. What is that? He asked, voice thin. My answer? I said. Open it. He tore it open. His eyes scanned the first page, and his face drained of color. It was a formal notice, signed by the largest shareholder, changing the agenda of next Tuesday's board meeting. I looked around the table at my mother, my father, my sister, and the people they brought to help them trap me. Next Tuesday, I said, the real envelope won't be here. It will be in the boardroom, and everyone will know who has been keeping this company alive. No one spoke right away. The soft music kept playing, like it did not know the room had changed. My dad stared at the brown envelope. My mom's fingers shook. Sienna looked at me like I was a stranger. Knox sat frozen, and I could hear the fireplace pop one loud crack at a time. Owen Ledger tried again. We can negotiate, he said. I shook my head. You already tried, I replied. First with a check, then with a dilution plan. Insteading. At Insteading Dollars. Camille Park swallowed. What do you want? She asked. I want the truth on record, I said. I want the board to see what you planned. And I want my family to learn. You don't get to erase someone just because you don't respect their job. My dad's voice came out rough. Adrian, we can talk privately. We will talk, I said. But not tonight. Tonight was your choice. I stood, then slid the cream envelope back to my mom. Keep it, I told her. I'm not for sale. At the front door, my phone buzzed. An email from the board chair flashed. Agenda change received. Attendance confirmed. Tuesday, 9 a.m. I stepped into the cold night without looking back. The real fight would happen after the holiday. I drove back to San Diego that night with my hands steady and my throat tight. The freeway lights blurred behind me, and my mom's shocked face kept replaying in my mind. I did not feel proud. I felt like someone had ripped a mask off a family photo. When I got home, Lila was waiting in her scrubs, hair tied up, eyes worried. What happened? She asked. They handed me an envelope, I said. A contract. A check. Like I was a problem they could pay to remove. Lila's jaw clenched. Did you sign it? No, I said. I called Miriam. I told them who I am. Lila held my hand and listened while I explained everything. The 6 plates, the advisors, the check, the speakerphone, and the brown envelope I slid back. When I finished, she pulled me into a tight hug. You stayed calm, she whispered. I was shaking inside, I admitted. Calm wins, she said. What now? Tuesday, I said. 9 a.m. Board meeting in Los Angeles. They tried to set a trap with new shares. Now the board knows Seabright is me. Lila looked at me for a long moment. Promise me something, she said. What? I asked. Promise you won't turn into them, she said. No cruelty. No showing off. Just truth. I promise, I said. I'm not doing this to crush people. I'm doing it to stop being crushed. Thanksgiving Day passed, like a cloudy day that never brightens. My mom texted, please call me. Sienna texted, you embarrassed us. My dad stayed silent. Lila and I ate simple food and watched a movie we barely followed. The holiday felt like a pause before thunder. On Friday, Miriam emailed me the full draft of the share plan. Owen Ledger's firm wrote it. Camille Park filed it. My dad approved it. The goal was clear. Create new shares, water down Seabright, and keep control in the family. They planned it before they told me not to come home. That made the envelope feel even worse. It was not a mistake. It was a move. Monday night, I packed a plain folder for the meeting. Ownership records, board rules, copies of the dilution draft. I wore my usual clothes. No suit, no fancy watch. If they wanted to judge me by my job, I would let them. Then I would vote anyway. At 4:30 Tuesday morning, I drove north. The air near the coast was colder. The sky was dark, and the streetlights made long yellow stripes on the road. Los Angeles rose ahead like a wall of glass and noise. Pacific Ridge headquarters sat by the shipping yards. The building looked clean, but the parking lot smelled like diesel and dust. I grew up with that smell. It used to mean my dad was working hard. Now, it meant we were about to see how he used power. In the lobby, a receptionist asked my name. When I said it, her eyes widened. She called upstairs, whispering. A few minutes later, a man in a Navy suit appeared. Mr. Cole, he said. I'm Victor Rios, counsel to the board. This way. The elevator ride felt longer than it was. I kept thinking, I'm really doing this. I'm really going to vote on my father. The boardroom was bright and quiet, with a view of cranes and water. 8 directors sat around the table. At the head sat my dad, Raymond Cole, jaw tight. Sienna sat beside him even though she was not a director. Owen Ledger and Camille Park sat near the wall, ready to whisper like shadows. Victor Rios stood. We will begin, he said. First item, proposed emergency share issuance. My dad spoke fast. The market is unstable, he said. We need flexibility. We need capital. The board chair, Marjorie Chen, leaned forward. Her voice was calm but firm. Raymond, why was this drafted without a full board review, she asked. It was preliminary, my dad said, eyes flicking to Owen. Marjorie did not blink. Preliminary drafts still show intent, she replied. A director named Samir Patel tapped his pen. This would dilute existing holders, he said. My dad's mouth tightened. It would protect us from hostile influence, he said. I finally spoke. You mean it would protect you from the largest shareholder, I said. My dad turned to me like he wanted to burn a hole through my face. You don't understand this business, he snapped. I slid copies of the reports across the table. I understand the numbers, I said. Cash flow is improving. Debt is stable. There is no emergency. This was not about the company. This was about you. Victor Rios scanned the papers. These match internal reports, he said. My dad's voice rose. I built this company. Marjorie answered. You also approved a secret dilution plan and tried to silence a shareholder with a private agreement. That is not leadership. Sienna jumped in. He's doing this because he hates us, she said. I looked at her. I did not hate you, I said. But you tried to erase me. Victor lifted his hand. We will vote on the share issuance, he said. Hands rose around the table. 7 no votes. 1 yes vote, my dad's. Victor wrote it down. Motion fails, he said. My dad's confidence cracked. For the first time, he looked like a man hearing a door lock. Victor continued. Next item. Review of executive conduct and vote of confidence in the CEO. My dad stood. This is a setup, he said. This is family drama. Marjorie's eyes stayed steady. This is governance, she replied. Family drama is what created the risk. Owen Ledger tried to speak. Marjorie cut him off. You are not a director, she said. Sit down. Owen sat back, face tight. Victor looked at the directors. We will vote, he said. My chest squeezed as hands lifted. 6 directors voted no confidence. 2 voted confidence. Victor's pen moved once, clean and final. The board removes Raymond Cole as CEO effective immediately, he said. Raymond remains on the board as an advisor, without executive authority, pending review. The board appoints an interim CEO today. My dad sank into his chair. Sienna's face went white. Knox was not there, but I could almost hear his voice in her silence, telling her to win. Victor added, "The board appoints Tasha Moreno as interim CEO, effective now." Tasha, a calm operations leader in her 40s, nodded and said, "Understood. We stabilize first." The meeting ended with signatures and quiet footsteps. Owen and Camille left fast. Sienna stayed seated, frozen. My dad did not look at anyone. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this story and you understand it so far, please comment where you're watching from and subscribe. This is still that cool California fall season, and what happens after the board vote is even harder. Outside, the wind smelled like salt and dust. I leaned against my car and let the cold air fill my lungs. My hands started shaking now, not from fear, but from release. My phone buzzed. My mom's name lit up the screen. I answered on the third ring. "Hello," I said. Her voice sounded broken. "Adrian," she whispered. "What did you do?" "I stopped a trap," I said, and I stopped pretending. She started crying. "Your father came home," she said. "He locked himself in the office. He won't talk." I closed my eyes. "Mom, he tried to erase me with a check," I said. "Then he tried to erase my vote with paperwork." "I didn't know about the dilution," she said, voice shaking. "I swear, I thought it was just a clean solution." "A clean solution for your image," I said, and my voice stayed calm, even though my chest hurt. Silence followed. Then she asked, "Can I see you?" Quote, "Come to San Diego," I said. "Our place, no advisors, no guests, just truth." She agreed in a whisper. That evening, Lila and I ate pasta at our small table. When I told her the vote count, she exhaled slowly. "You removed him," she said. "You didn't destroy him. He chose the fall," I replied. On Wednesday, my mom arrived in a plain sweater and no flashy jewelry. She looked around our apartment like it was a different planet. "It's small," she said. "It's peaceful," Lila answered. My mom sat, wrapped her hands around a warm cup of tea, and finally said, "I'm sorry." I waited. "I'm sorry for the envelope," she continued. "I'm sorry for letting your father treat you like you were less." I told myself it was protecting the family, but it was just fear. "Why did you tell me not to come?" I asked. She looked down. "Your father said you would make trouble," she admitted. "He wanted you far away until the plan was done. So I was a risk," I said. She nodded, ashamed. "What about Sienna?" I asked. My mom's mouth tightened. "She wanted you gone," she said. "She said you made investors nervous." Lila's voice stayed gentle, but firm. "He's your son," she said. "Not a PR problem." My mom started crying again. "I know," she said. "I know now." That night, my dad called me for the first time since the vote. His voice sounded rough, like he had been awake for days. "You happy?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm clear." He swallowed. "Why didn't you tell me you were Seabright?" I leaned against the kitchen counter. "Because I wanted to know if you could respect me without a number," I said. "I wanted to know if you could love your son without a price tag." Went is redded gratting. He was quiet so long I thought he hung up. Then he said, very small, "I don't know how to do that." "Then learn," I replied. After a pause, he asked, "Can I come down there?" I looked at Lila. She nodded once. "Yes," I said, "but not to argue, to listen." On Friday evening, my dad arrived with my mom and Sienna. Sienna did not bring Knox. Her eyes were red, like she had cried and hated herself for it. We sat in our living room. No crystal, no long table, no envelopes, just a couch and plain chairs. My dad cleared his throat. "I owe you an apology," he said. Sienna started to speak, but my dad lifted a hand. "No," he said. "Let me finish." He looked at me. "I treated you like you were worth whatever I could pay," he said. "I used money as a weapon. I'm sorry." I watched his face. It was not smooth. It was not proud. It looked scared. I asked, "Are you sorry because you lost the vote, or because you hurt me?" His eyes filled. "Because I hurt you," he said, "and because your grandfather would be ashamed of me." My mom wiped her cheeks. Sienna's voice came out tight. "I was scared," she admitted. "I thought you'd take everything." "I didn't want everything," I said. "I wanted you to see me." Sienna looked down. "I didn't," she whispered. My dad nodded like each word cost him. "I'm trying now," he said. I took a slow breath. "Then here are my terms," I said. We stop treating people like tools. We stop using checks as apologies. We show respect when nobody is watching. My dad nodded. Okay, he said. In the weeks that followed, Tasha Moreno stabilized the company. She cut waste, fixed contracts, and made managers stop bullying workers. People at Pacific Ridge started breathing easier. A week after the vote, Tasha asked me to visit the main yard in Long Beach. If you're going to own this much, she said, you should see the people, not just the papers. So I went on a Saturday morning. The yard was loud with engines and beeping trucks. Workers in bright vests moved like they had a rhythm. A man named Hector Ruiz, the yard supervisor, shook my hand. His grip was rough from real work. I won't lie, Hector said. When we heard some mystery owner had a huge stake, we assumed it was another suit who would cut jobs. I hate suits too, I said, and he laughed. I walked the lines, asked simple questions, and listened. I heard about broken equipment that never got replaced because Raymond didn't want to look weak. I heard about drivers who missed birthdays because schedules changed at the last second. I heard about foremen who yelled because yelling was the only power they had. That day, I made 3 rules with Tasha. 1. No safety fixes get delayed for pride. 2. Schedules change only with real reason and real notice. 3. Anyone who bullies workers gets written up, no matter their title. On Monday, Tasha sent the rules to every manager. The next morning, my dad showed up at the yard without cameras and without his boots shining. He stood beside Hector and watched the trucks roll. I never knew it was this hard, my dad said quietly. Hector did not smile. It's always been this hard, he replied. You just didn't come down here. My dad nodded, and for once, he didn't argue. He asked Hector what the yard needed most. Hector said, respect and parts that actually work. That afternoon, my dad called me. I'm not asking for my job back, he said. I'm asking how to make it right. I answered, start by showing up where the work is. Then keep showing up. He said, okay, and he did. For the first time, I believed he might change. I stayed a teacher. I kept driving my old sedan. I did not buy a mansion. I did not post online. I did not need to prove anything. Instead, I used Seabright Partners to fund robotics clubs in schools that had nothing. Kids who felt invisible built machines that worked. When they smiled, I felt more rich than any boardroom ever made me feel. One evening in December, Lila and I walked along the beach. The winter sun was low, and the water looked like dark glass. Do you regret going home? She asked. I thought about Thanksgiving Eve, about the cream envelope sliding toward me, about my dad's cold voice saying, sign it. No, I said, because now I know the truth. What truth? She asked. I squeezed her hand. That the most dangerous envelope is the one that tries to tell you your worth, I said. And the best way to beat it is to stay calm, stay kind, and refuse to disappear. I looked out at the waves and finished the thought out loud. For myself, I'm Adrian Cole, I said. I'm a teacher, I'm an owner, and I'm the son who stopped letting my family's fear decide my future.